Sabbath greetings to everyone. I hope you had a fantastic week. We've had a very, very fine week here in Sussex, although it's been a very, very busy week. They're always exciting. There's never a dull moment, but it seems like around this time of year it's always just a little extra exciting, and all the things that are going on. This year's been a little different dynamic with what's kind of creating the excitement. I've been just this past week, I've done a tremendous amount of phone work, primarily phone work, talking to go-tos, to those around the area that are being affected by the work, and that's always so very exciting. I know I've mentioned that before in these videos, but I certainly appreciate your prayers for them. I appreciate your prayers for me in that regard as well. That's my job, and so in many ways that's obviously an important part of my job, to be able to answer their questions, to be able to encourage them, to be able to sometimes point them in the right direction, and it's a very exciting part of the job, and I certainly appreciate your prayers with regard to that, and certainly for those individuals as well that are being affected by the work. But it's just been just an especially busy time, and it really always is. It's usually very busy as we're preparing for the holy days. There's a lot of extra writing to do. This past week I had the opportunity to do a fair amount of festival planning as well, because I'm a little bit behind, to be frank, this year, and so I've been trying to play some catch up this week so we can all be ready for registration coming up here just around the corner. And I was so excited this week that we received the email letting us know who is coming to the feast in the Dells in the way of speakers and traveling speakers and that sort of thing. So I couldn't be more excited about that, the list, and I'm so excited that we're going to have some very fine speakers there, and those that are traveling into the area. And wouldn't you like to know who they are? But I'm going to give you that little bit of a teaser there. But I'm very excited to have that list and know who's going to be there, and of course always look forward to the feast very much, and of course I really enjoy coordinating. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's fun, and it's challenging, and I do enjoy it. So that'll get, of course, into full swing after the days of unleavened bread, and have a chance to kind of switch gears and really start working on that a lot more. But just have a few thoughts here tonight. I want to make this pretty brief. We're coming up really close here on the Sabbath. I have a few things I have left to accomplish here in preparation for tomorrow, where we'll be in Milwaukee, by the way, and have the opportunity for a Spokesman's Club again, and services there. Very, very much looking forward to that. Philippians 3:20 states that our citizenship is in heaven. That really is the most evident around these holy days, isn't it? Either these spring holy days or any of the holy days, really, because here we are, totally focused on, what God means with these days. What does He expect to teach us? What does He expect us to be learning? We're focused. We have an extra focus on that. And yet the world around us is just going about its business. It has its days that it keeps, and it has its way of doing things, its approach to life. And yet we see that we're strangers and pilgrims. We're just passing through in that sense, and we're very much on a different track. And that becomes very clear as we get around these days, and we start thinking about Passover and all that it means for us, and we start thinking about the days of unleavened bread, and how that process is spiritual in nature. There's a physical part of it, but it has spiritual implications. As we de-leaven our homes, we think about that, we meditate on that process. Why are we doing this? Because it pictures something. It pictures us having this need and this absolute, there's an absolute need to continue to strive against that human nature, that carnal nature, the sin that so easily ensnares us. And so we have these days to focus on that every year, and it's awesome. and it'll change the world when the whole world is keeping these days. But right now we're strangers and pilgrims. We're just passing through. And I thought I'd turn to Hebrews 11, which is the faith chapter, a very, very encouraging part of Scripture. But verse 13 specifically says, these all died in faith. All of those that he's been referring to, all that they went through, they were faithful. They didn't give in to all the pulls and distractions of the world around them. They died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. So we confess those same things, especially around these times of the years. We confess we're strangers and pilgrims. We're just passing through. We're not going to get involved in this world. We're not going to be too overly involved with the things of this world. We're going to come out of the world. We're going to be focused on these things, just like our spiritual forefathers were. Those who came before us, those who were faithful, they died in faith. They haven't received the promise yet, but they are awaiting a resurrection. And what an exciting truth that truly is. You know, we're pioneers. I am so encouraged. It always kind of, it kind of gives me goosebumps, I guess. Sometimes when I hear Dr. Meredith mention that very statement, you know, we are pioneers. We're pioneers. That is very, very significant because, you know, the word pioneer, it also has listed an adjective. And in the way that Dr. Meredith is stating that, it's an adjective. It's an action word. We are pioneers. And what's the definition? We're, quote, leading the way. We're trailblazing. That's the definition. You look it up. The adjective for pioneers. Leading the way. Trailblazing a way of life. A way of life. We're trailblazers of a way of life. A real way of life that, of course, if it's lived right, leads to all those wonderful fruits of the Spirit. It leads to wonderful prosperity and spiritual maturity and wonderful joy and peace and all those things that come with it. And we're trailblazers of that way of life. And I hope we're considering ourselves in that way as we approach the Passover in the days of unleavened bread. This world is going to just pass right on by it. But we're engaged in that process. We're ready for that process. We see ourselves as trailblazers and pioneers of a way of life. And what a wonderful, wonderful blessing to be a part of it now, to be trailblazers in that sense. And so I hope you consider that a little bit this Sabbath. I hope it's a wonderful, profitable Sabbath for you wherever you plan on being. And I love you all. I hope you have a tremendous Sabbath. I hope it's a great Sabbath for you and a wonderful upcoming week. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.